Today we're going to be fixing every team's biggest weakness. We're going to go straight to the improved team tab, and then we're going to see which position group on each team has the lowest letter grade, and then turn that position into a 99. We split each team up into 8 different position groups: quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end, O-line, D-line, linebackers, and secondary. So we're on Chicago, and as you can see right off the bat, their O-line is starting 2 Ds, so that's the position group we went with for them. The Bengals' biggest weakness ended up being their linebackers, starting 2 Cs. They had a well-rounded roster, so this one was actually pretty tough. The Bills were another team with a great roster, so believe it or not, we actually had to go with their O-line. It was close though. We took the averages of the O-line and the linebackers because that was the other position. The Broncos are actually going to improve their defensive line. They got a D, a C+, and a C+. Now it's looking like the days when they had DeMarcus Ware and Von Miller. Cleveland was another team that had good players at almost every position, but their linebackers had to be the weakest, 2 Cs. We all know the Bucks are 92 overall in Madden 23, highest of any team, so their biggest weakness had to be tight end with that C. We're not counting fullbacks. I mean, I feel like you guys would be mad. If the position I fixed for your team was a fullback, you'd be pissed. But tight end, I mean, we're giving Brady pretty much Gronk again in his prime. The Cardinals might shock you because even though they have JJ on the D-line, that is their biggest weakness on average. The O-line was close, but that D at the D tackle was the difference maker. Now the Chargers are starting Bosa and Mack at linebacker, so their D-line ends up taking a hit. That's where we improved. I know they have a D on the O-line, but they also have an A and 2 Bs, so it kind of offsets. The Chiefs were almost the first team that we improved their secondary, but the linebackers needed help a little bit more, so that's the position group we improved to a 99. The year is 2009. Matt Ryan is playing with Tony Gonzalez, one of the best tight ends to ever do it. That's pretty much what's going on when you look at the Colts. We improved their tight end, who was a C+, all the way up to a 99. The first team where their quarterback ends up being their biggest weakness, the Commanders, Carson Wentz is now a 99. This was a very close one. The Cowboys have a pretty good roster, but their D-line needed slightly more help than their linebackers. One could argue that the quarterback is close to being the biggest weakness on the Dolphins, but the O-line had 2 Ds and 2 Cs. That's the position we improved for them. My guy Jalen Hurts is actually the biggest weakness on the Eagles. For once, we have a pretty good roster, so I think he could do some damage now that he's a 99. The Falcons have 2 Ds on their defensive line, but the average of those two plus Grady Jarrett was a little bit higher than Mariota's overall, so we improved their quarterback in the case of a tie, because I feel like that's more important. That's the first F of the video. The Niners offensive line, even with a 99 at left tackle. I mean, just look at that. A D, F, and D. You have to improve that. So now Trey Lance has a 99 O-line in front of him. I mean, it's no secret the Giants don't have one of the best rosters in the league, to be completely honest. Like, I'm not trying to be mean. They needed help in a lot of areas, but since it was pretty much a tie, the quarterback was where we improved. Danny Dimes is now 99. Doug Peterson's Jaguars actually needed help on the O-line. I mean, that's no secret. 2 Ds and 2 Cs, even with an elite right guard in Brandon Scherf. This experiment might do the Jets really good because they have a pretty good roster, but now Zach Wilson's going to be a 99. We'll see if he can take them to the playoffs. We had another tie in Detroit, man. Their D-line needed a lot of help. Their defense in general only has 1 starter higher than the C+, but it was their quarterback, Jared Goff, who we ended up improving to a 99. The Packers was an interesting one. Their O-line and D-line were actually tied, but we all know Aaron Rodgers would much prefer if he had some more help on offense, so that's where we ended up improving. The Panthers O-line and quarterback were pretty close, but the tight end ended up being the position we improved. Patriots were another team with a pretty good roster, but their D-line was the one that needed the most help, so now they're all 99. If you're asking me which team might improve the most in this experiment, I think the Raiders have an argument. All those weapons with Derek Carr and now a 99 offensive line. But then again, you give the defending Super Bowl champs, Stafford, Kupp, Robinson, a 99 offensive line as well, and they might go back to back. Finally, Lamar gets some help. We're gonna give him 99 overall wide receivers. I think they're the only team in the league where we improve their wide receivers, just to show you how bad it is. The Saints, another team with a phenomenal roster. So it was actually Taysom Hill, the tight end, who is now a 99. This was probably the quickest decision I made of any team. The quarterback being a D was a no-brainer that the Seahawks needed help in that position. Make that back-to-back very quick decisions. The Steelers were another team where he made their quarterback a 99. The Texans had a lot of positions tied with the quarterback, so I felt like that was the one we had to improve. So now he's a 99. Could you imagine trying to tackle King Henry behind a 99 offensive line. That's what these teams are going to have to deal with. Same thing with Dalvin Cook in Minnesota. Now the Vikings get a 99 offensive line as well. So we're going to sim to the playoffs, see who ends up thriving the most from these improvements. This is a great time to like the video. I'd greatly appreciate it. Chiefs and Ravens at the top of the AFC, both 13-4. Broncos, Bengals, Bills, Jaguars, and the Chargers. You got to feel bad for the Browns and Raiders. Both go 10-7 and barely missed the playoffs. Meanwhile, the Cowboys end up with the 1 seed in the NFC. Packers, Niners, Bucks, Cardinals, Vikings, and Commanders with a 99 overall wins end up making it 3-14 for the defending Super Bowl champs.
How, Sway?
We'll go through all the passing stats. 6,000 for Tom Brady. I don't think we've ever seen a quarterback throw for 6,000 yards. That's insane. And if we have, that's even more insane. Oh, I'm seeing some crazy ratios. Trubisky, 35 touchdowns, only 1 interception. That man was going stupid. Lamar, 30 touchdowns. I mean, he had the least passing yards in the league, but maybe that's because their rushing game was doing so good. JT with 2,000 yards to lead everybody. But it looks like McCaffrey might have the most touchdowns. Him and Nick Chubb both had 22. No wonder why Lamar wasn't passing that much. 13 rushing touchdowns. He's going to be in the MVP conversation. So will Cooper Kupp. Another triple crown. And somehow they did not make the playoffs. I don't get it. Not even just not make the playoffs. They didn't even get close. To be last in the NFC when you still have Donald, Wagner, and Ramsey on defense. I don't get it. But here are all the receiving stats, man. You know, O-line, you can't really check that. But some teams did improve their linebackers. Taking a look at the tackle leaders, the tackle for loss leaders. Draymond Jones on that improved D-line from the Broncos leading the way. Zach Allen. Remember, we improved the Cardinals D-line, so him and JJ Watt, I mean, you can't double team both of them, so he ends up leading the league in sacks. And then Logan Wilson on that improved linebacker core in Cincinnati ends up leading the league in interceptions. Josh Allen wins MVP though. Lamar was right there. I thought he had a great chance. Mariota ends up 3rd. And we have a great Super Bowl. The Vikings and the Chargers. Two teams that improved in the trenches. The Chargers, it was their D-line. The Vikings, their O-line. So this should be a good one. We're in the second half. Minnesota down 6. And they have ball at the start of 4th quarter. Already pretty much in field goal range. Kirk is going to have all the time in the world. Or maybe not, because it kind of offsets. 3rd and 5. Chargers send a blitz. They're going to Dalvin. Oh, Jesus. He destroyed his ankles. Bunch to the left. They're in man coverage. Oh, you had Jefferson. Why didn't he get rid of it? There's a fumble. But luckily, they pick it up. That front 7 is scary. You have 3 or 4 99s, whatever. I don't know the information. And then you add Bosa and Mack to that. I mean, how do you stop them? Kirk on 3rd and goal, going over the middle. This time, he does hit Jefferson, but it's short of the end zone, which means they're going for it. 4th and goal. Biggest play of the game. 2-minute warning. Let's see what Kirk is able to do. 4-man pass rush for that elite D-line. Kirk throws an interception. Now they just have to go ahead and chew clock. Eckler getting close to a 1st down. They end up doing nothing on 2nd down, so it comes down to this. 3rd and 2, last chance for the Vikings. Need to stop badly. They send a blitz. The Chargers are Super Bowl champions for the first time in franchise history. Thank you guys for watching to the end. If you enjoyed it, you already know what to do. Please subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you on the next one.